Hi guys. So while I was working my shift at the animal hospital today, I was doing some thinking about how I wanted to produce my content, and a couple things crossed my mind about a lot of things that would often get overlooked while I was working in a gym setting. Because oftentimes as trainers, how we're trained to train, it's pretty subpar, unfortunately, with a lot of the modern personal training programs. There's a lot of details that often get left out. Mostly when it comes to like stabilizers, structural integrity, things like that. And so a lot of people who kind of jump into it, I would often see people having ankle problems, sprain, tendonitis, things like that. And it's often overlooked starting from the ground up, starting from your base of support and then working the strength upward to create more of a sound, well-balanced body. And so something I wanted to cover today is some ankle strengthening exercises so that you can perform better as an athlete and also prevent injury in the future as you intensify your workouts. So I have a list of things that I kind of want to get into, and I'm going to go through them kind of one by one, give little notes here and there, focal points, things like that. So let's do this. So the first one I'm going to be covering is just going to be basically an ankle warm-up, which is basically start with your feet kind of directly below your shoulders, kind of roughly shoulder width apart as best you can. Now, depending on your body, like some people will have to maybe duck their feet just a little bit. Essentially, you kind of want everything to be in line with each other, so your knees kind of would track over your toes, let's say, just so everything is kind of functioning smoothly without putting weird tension in different locations on your joints. So I always start with feet right below my shoulders, just as a sort of a neutral position. And so for the warm up, we're just going to do some basically calf raises without weight. So you lift as high as you can go, and you just keep going until you start to feel your calves burn, or definitely you're going to start feeling it along the sides here. You want that. And if you start feeling it in this little muscle right here that a lot of people don't know is there, that's also good. You want those to work. Just raise, flex, and you want to keep your core tight. That's one of the most important things. Hi, Liam.
You're teaching?
Yes, I am.
Who? I'm just making a video?
Everybody. Whoever would like to learn. Okay. Oh, got an ankle crack. I'm 33 years old, so things pop and crack all the time. That's pretty normal. That is beans. Still doing the calf raises. Beans. Oh my God. So you want to essentially do this for at least a minute. Okay, and so the next one, after you've done maybe 1 minute, sometimes you might have to bump it up to 2. You might already have a pretty solid baseline, and that's totally fine. You just want to make sure that you're pushing it past a point of burning for roughly 10 to 20 seconds, because when you push past that burn, that's where you're going to start getting that benefit. So the next one, it might be a little bit more difficult for people. It should just kind of be the next step up. However, walking on your tippy toes does not come naturally for a lot of people, and that's totally okay. So how are you going to start? You're essentially going to go back and forth. So start on your toes as high as you can go comfortably, because I don't want you rolling your ankle or anything. You want one foot in front of the other in a straight line. We take about 4 or 5 steps and then go backwards. Take your time, be careful, don't rush through it. And again, you're going to keep doing this until it burns. Try to push it maybe for like a minute. If you have to like balance one of your arms out, that's fine, because you want the work to be put on the ankles, really nothing else. All right, for the last warm-up, what we're gonna do is kind of like the calf raises we started with, but now we're gonna set them wider. So same thing, about a minute, maybe 2 minutes if you were at a solid baseline. And definitely once you start widening your feet, they're gonna duck more and more and more because of how your body is structured. See, these kind of go out more when you widen them up, so you want them to kind of track more towards the toes. And you'll kind of find out where that is depending on your body, because everyone's unique. So again, about a minute or two. As high as you can go. Really pause at the top of the movement. Slow and controlled coming down and up. Tight core. Keep your legs pretty firm because you still want to use all the other muscles as well. And when you're done with these, you can kind of go into maybe like a 30-second rest. Maybe stretch a little bit. Always stretch. Please always stretch. Please stretch. For this next one, sorry to change the angle of the camera. It's not the best lighting. Again, I'm super amateur and I'm still working this stuff out and I have minimal equipment, so thank you for bearing with me. This next one, we're gonna kind of pick up the pace a little bit because we wanna actually start putting this into motion. And a lot of people call these a lot of different things. I just like to call them like ice skaters because it's what it looks like to me. So I'm sure you've seen these before. I had to kind of also change the angle because of how much room I need. So when you kind of come to the side and you dip, let me back up a little bit. So I'm just, I think the movement's a little bit smaller, but essentially you're crossing over and then pushing off this leg right here and switching. Now, for all intents and purposes, I have to kind of make it small for the view, but as you start to feel comfortable, you can widen it up as you feel more secure with the movement. And this is about the time where you will actually start feeling work in your ankles. And again, this is one of those things that you actually want to push for sequence of 2 minutes, 3 times. It's gonna feel a little daunting, but it'll be worth it, trust me. So last but not least, this one's going to take it down a notch because we want to kind of finish with some motion, but cooling down those muscle fibers, but still getting some work out of it. So what I do, you can pretty much sit however you want to do this. You want to take your feet up off the floor. I mean, you can honestly do this in any position. You can sit, whatever. Maybe point and flex. Point and flex. Roll them around a bit. And you really want to flex. With all these movements, you want to actually be flexing those muscles. Use them. Don't do this passively. Engage them. You hear a lot of cracking. Oh, yep, there we go. Point and flex. Point and flex. Just do this till they're nice and worked out. Feel a little bit of a burn, and you can kind of just relax after that. I understand this was kind of more of a short video. It's not too intense, but that's kind of the point. We don't want to start it off super heavy. We just want to get those muscles waking up and doing their job before we strengthen them. So, you know, feel free to comment or ask any questions you want. I'd be happy to make more content to cover more things in more detail. But that's it for now. You want to be doing this one kind of every day to keep those muscles activated and awake and working. Okay? Bye, guys.